This video will review your writing project for Chapter 6, Writing on the Web. Now, you're going to write a blog style article for this project, and that means you could use one of several different styles. It could be a news style article, an explainer, or a how-to or list article. And I'll go ahead and take a quick look at each of these. So this first one is more of a news style article about farmers in Senegal. And as you can see, they introduce it in a very similar way to how a kind of feature article would be introduced. They explain what it's about, which is these little shrubs that used to be ripped out of farmland in Senegal. But after, some research and other things, they are actually leaving the plant and realize that it made their farmland better. And so we have this kind of overview here in the introduction, then subheading, a few short paragraphs about whatever is included in the subheading, a couple of pictures, and direct quotes from different people. And you'll see they have a few different subheadings. Now, these, of course, change depending on what you're introducing in each section, but every time you're including some information and then a new subheading for your new topic, within this topic. Now, this explainer, Why Do Cats Chase Lasers, includes, of course, an introduction of the idea first, which it probably brought you here. And in this case, it's about cats chasing lasers. And since we can't actually, interview the cat about it, of course, we have a couple of veterinary interviews and some links to additional information. So in this case, the additional information includes other articles from the same website. But you can see it's very similar style-wise. And same thing whenever we look at medical articles. These are another type of explainer. Whenever you have something you think it might be eczema, you want to find out first the definition, what is it, and what could cause it, what kind of symptoms they have, and possibly some answers to frequently asked questions. Now, here's a great example of how to include a bulleted list within additional information. So they started out with the introductory paragraph and then included this section here. And so they have like a short little paragraph along with bulleted information. Now, the two other types we mentioned, how-to articles and lists, are going to have a slightly different, but still basically the same format. In this example, how to keep your house clean with indoor pets. Of course, we still have that introduction. And then our first subheading. Now, in this particular version, there isn't a one, like step one, step two, step three type of list. In this case, they have headings and subheadings related to specific problems. So, different types of cleaning and how to avoid ending up with a bunch of animal hair everywhere, and which is important, especially if you have any animal dander related allergies. And of course, we have the section about picking the right cleaning products. And I'm actually surprised they don't have any information the about any other sponsored products or things. But in general, some information that's provided for a person looking to clean their house if they have animals. Now, in this list, they are looking at a groupings of podcasts based on what kinds of podcasts you like. And of course, they have a table of contents and provide photos, subheadings, and little breakout information for each item, as well as locations where you can find them. Please feel free to look through those. And of course, there are other kinds of lists and how to's where they do have very specific linear formats, like following through different steps and things. Those would be acceptable as well. Now, for your writing project, you want to include the following. Of course, 2 outside sources. You are going to conduct another interview for this one. Um, so, a copy of your interview, whether it's the video or audio, and interview quotes, at least one direct quote from your interview. And you'll write a tweet to accompany your writing. And of course, your reference list, which includes your minimum 2 sources. Now, sources or references, those are reliable publications. Go back to chapter 2 if you are unsure. That's could be different books, magazines, articles, web publications from reliable sources. It could be audio or video, or pictures or photos. But if you decide to include pictures and photos, these do not count as your sources. You do need to include something that has a bit more depth to show that you included research in your project. And preferably, I would like you to focus on things that were published this year, that, again, a minimum of 2. And remember, most of the time you are paraphrasing information. Occasionally, there will be instances where you want to directly quote, but most of the time, if you're getting statistics or other information about what's happening right now in a particular situation, you're probably going to paraphrase that information. Now, interviews are going to be opened up a bit more. You can interview instructors or working professionals just like you did for your last one, but I will also allow person on the street interviews. However, they must understand your topic. They have to add some kind of meaningful dialogue for your for your project. And again, at least one direct quote in your project. And you can also paraphrase additional information from them. You probably will want to either to introduce your person or to help wrap up an idea you introduced with a direct quote. And your article is following the traditional, well, the recommended online format of using a heading and subheadings. You need to include a lead paragraph and 4 to 6 body paragraph sections. That means 4 to 6 subheadings with it as well. Useful sentences, follow AP style, and you may include bullets or numbers if you aren't sure whether or not your writing follows this format. I can look at it whenever we have our project meeting. And of course, you want to include a closing. And I am allowing you to provide pictures, video, or other media if you so choose. The recommended length for your project is about 700 to 1600 words. You can use more. It's mostly so you don't use less than that. Think a little more about the length some of you did for your news writing project, where you had a more detailed story. So we're still looking to provide quality content and relevant information for our audience with fully developed ideas. Whatever information you include, remember we're looking for peer-reviewed fact-based information from journals or from other studies. If you're including information from press releases, then make sure your audience understands where it's coming from and all that good stuff. Now, the tweet is going to come after your article. We'll talk more about posting on Twitter and other platforms on Monday, but in general, you can view the tweet rules here. Use 1 to 2 hashtags and a 280 character limit for your post. Now, you aren't required to actually post something on Twitter. This is an example of how it would look formatting wise. You're still using the same format that you would if you were actually posting it. This is just practice writing something relevant for your project. And of course, your references are going to be at the very end. Your sources are going to be in APA format, and this will not include your interviews. This just includes your other information sources. So to wrap up, you're turning in that video or audio copy of your interview, a blog style article with a corresponding tweet, and your list of references.